Hello, welcome to today's lecture. Today I am going to teach you about Python's data structure lists and how we use lists in Python and what are the methods that we have on lists that make our life easy as a programmer. So let us begin with this of how to declare a list in Python. Okay, so in Python you can create a variable. Suppose I am creating a numbers list. Okay, so I am creating a nums list variable, and after that I am putting a equals to sign. This in Python is not a equals to, it is an assignment operator. This shows that this variable is referencing to some data structure, okay, or some value. So after it I am going to declare a list. So a square bracket is needed, and within this square bracket you can put your elements. A list is a data structure where you can put any sort of element, any number of elements, and the category or the type of the elements can differ also. So in a list you can put a string, suppose like apple. You can also put boolean values like true or false. You can put integer values. You can put integer values in the list also, like 1, 2. You can put decimal point numbers or float values in the list, like 0.5 or 2.0. You can put any sort of data inside the list, and you can access these elements by indexes. Okay, so the list data structure gives you the ability to access its contents through indexes. So how would you access them? So in the list data type, this is the variable that is referencing to the list in our example. Okay, so this num list contains the reference to all the contents that are present in our list. Okay, so in a list you can access the elements or access its elements using indexes. Indexes start from 0. So this apple here inside our list is at the 0th index. Okay, and after that you can count. True is at the 1st index, false is at the second index, then 1 is at the third index, 2 is at the fourth index, 0.5 is at the 5th index, and 2.0 is at the 6th index. So you have to remember that in a list the indexes start from 0. Okay, if you want to go backwards, the rule is like here the index is -1. Okay, so the first element at the index 0 and the last element is at the index -1. So the last index is -1, 2.0 is at the index -1, 0.5 is at the index -2, 2 is at the index -3, 1 is at the index -4, and like this. You can count like this. Okay, so let us access the elements. So you can access the elements by using this using the variable name, and after that you can put a square bracket, and inside this square bracket you can put the index. You can put the index of the element that you want to take out from this list. Okay, that you want to get from this list. Suppose I want to get apple from this list, so I would put 0 here, and let us try to print this. Okay, as you can see, apple got printed here. Okay, we can also print one. We can also print the first the index 1 where true is inside the list. Okay, so true would get printed with this. So you can see apple and true. Nums list. Now we can try to print some other index also. Okay, print an element which is present at some other index also. So 0 1 2 3 4. Let us try to print the fourth one. So you can see the fourth one is the number 2 and it got printed correctly. So what I told you, that the indexes of the list start from number 0, and if you go in the reverse order, go from backwards, there you can find that there the indexes are from -1. Okay, so if you go from the end of the list, 2.0 is at -1th index, then -2, then -2nd index, then -3rd index, then -4th index. It's like this. Just as we have taken out some values using these indexes from the list, we can also try to get the values using the negative indexes. So as I have told you that if you want to go backwards, so if you want to start taking out the values from the end of the list, you want to target the negative indexes then. So nums list, then a square bracket, and we can target the last value, which would be at the -1th index. Okay, let us try to print it. So you can see it successfully printed this element which is at the -1th index in the list. So let us try to print some more values so that you can get the gist of it. So now let us print this value. So this value is -1th index, this value is at the -1th index, so this value would be at the -2nd index. So -2, if I put here, it is nums list. So the variable name after the square brackets, and inside that you can put the index that you want to get. Okay, so the element at the index that you target, you would get that element out. So let us print it. As you can see, 0.5 gets printed on the console. So let us try to print this number. Let us try to print this value. Okay, so this is the -1th index, -2nd, -3rd, -4th, -5th. So we have to enter the nums list here, then a square bracket, and then the -5th index, and we can then we can access the value. So indexing is a neat way. Through indexes we can access the values of the list. If you target the negative indexes, you would be getting the values that are from the last portion of the list, and either you can target the positive indexes. Through positive indexes you can target any element and you can get it out from the list. Also you can you can also try to take out elements using the negative indexing. So both works the same way. You just have to mention the name of the variable which references to your list, and then a square bracket, and in the square bracket you can put that index that you want to take out. Okay, so this is how the indexing works. Now I'm going to show you some operations that we can perform on a list. So now we are going to create a fruits list which would hold guava, cherry, and one more, grapes. Okay, so we can perform something like let me show you. We can create a compound list of both of them, where we can do nums list plus fruits list. So this would contain all the elements from both the lists. So we can print this compound list, and let me show you. So as I printed the compound list, you can see it contains all the elements from the nums list and all the elements from the fruits list. So basically you can perform a mathematical operation like addition, and here what Python does is that it concatenates both the lists. It creates a single list from both of the lists. So you can do this operation. Let me show you one more operation which you can do. So nums, let me create only it contains a element 0. Okay, so new list. What you can do, you can do nums into 4. So now as we did addition of two lists, we can also do multiplication of a list with some numeric value. Okay, so let me show you what happens when we do this kind of thing. So as you can see, the elements are now 4. Okay, so now there are 4 elements in the list, and initially there were only one element. There was only one element. So now there are more elements here. So if we multiply this with 10, there would be 10 zeros in the list after that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 elements now. So this type of operation we can do, or we can perform. So this type of operation, like a multiplication with a numeric value, we can do on the list. We can perform this type of operation also. So these are the operations. Now I am going to show you the methods that we can have on a list. Okay, suppose this list contains apple. Okay, so I have created a fruits list, and this variable fruits references the list which contains an element apple. Okay, and let me try to print it first. Fruits. Okay, so as you can see, it contains apple. Now there is a append method. There is a append method to the list class. Okay, list is a data structure, and it contains some methods which are used to manipulate the list in some way. Okay, so you can manipulate the list in some way so that you can create some programs with ease. Suppose you want to add something to the end of this list. So the list data type gives us a method append. Okay, and we can append to the end of the list. So apple is already present inside the list. Now I am trying to append orange to the list also. Okay, so now I am going to print it. So now the list contains apple and orange. Okay, so this append method, what it does, that it checks your list and then it appends to the end of the list. Okay, so let me append one more item to this list so that you can understand what is going on. So fruits dot append cherry. So now when I would print list of fruits, when I would print this fruits variable, it would contain cherry also. So apple, orange and cherry. So now it contains 3 fruits. Okay, let me append one more thing. Let me append one more thing, and its fruits variable name is fruits guava. So I'm appending guava and I'm going to print the fruits list again. So now you can see guava is also there. So this is how the append method works, and it takes you give it a value you give a value to the append method, and what it does, that it appends the value to the list on which the append method is applied upon. Okay, so it's a very simple and common method. So like append, there are some more methods. There is a method insert. Okay, so like append, we also have a method for inserting a element in a list at an arbitrary position, and this method is insert. Okay, so append, what it did, that it appended, it added the item to the end of the list. And in insert, what we can do is we can, so the syntax is like first the name of the list, then the dot operator, and then insert. Okay, so as you can see, it is also giving us some options here. So we can insert at any arbitrary position inside the list. First let me copy this list from here, and let me make this list a little bigger. So now this list contains 4 items. Okay, and let me put it. So what I am going to do, I want to insert at any position inside the list. Suppose the list indexes start from 0 here. Here is the first element at the first index, then the second element, then the second index. This cherry is at the second index, and this guava is at the third index. Okay, so I want to insert something at the 0th index, banana. Okay, suppose I want to insert this banana, which is a string data type, to the first to the 0th index. So what would happen, that insert would make this banana occupy the 0th index of the list, and it would shift the apple to the first index, orange to the second index, cherry to the third index, and guava to the fourth index. So it would push the elements 1 index ahead. Okay, so let me try to print it and show you what it does. Okay, so it happened, this list is happening because we have not made this, we have not commented the append section yet, commented out the append section yet. So I have commented it out. Now we can see So banana, apple, orange, cherry and guava. The initial list was apple, orange, cherry and guava. Apple was at the 0th index. Now when I targeted the 0th index and I inserted another element, banana, now banana occupies the 0th index of the list and apple gets pushed to the next index, and likewise the other elements are also pushed to the next index. So index is like you can push index is like you can put any element at an arbitrary position in the list through using it. Okay, so fruits dot insert. Suppose I want to insert something at this position. Okay, so I would put -1 here. The first thing that you enter here is the position, is the index that you want to target. Okay, so here I am targeting this index, the last element. Okay, the last element here occupies the negative index and which is the -1st index. Okay, and what we want to enter here, we want to enter any fruit, suppose grapes. Okay, so what would happen, let me print it first and show you. So I have to print it again, print fruits. So what happened, see, guava got pushed to the end of the list. So what happened, that guava was at the negative index, guava is at the end of the list and so what happened, that guava was at the -1st index of the list. So and we targeted the -1st index. So what happened, that grapes replaced that guava and guava is pushed to the end of the list. Okay, so this happened here. We can also try to insert at the second index. Let's insert kiwi. Okay, so now the list has some more elements. So because we have inserted 2 elements here, so now the list contains some more elements. So this is our current list: banana, apple, orange, cherry, grapes and guava. Okay, and I am targeting the second element. So banana is at the 0th index, apple is at the 1st index, orange is at the 2nd index. So what would happen, that kiwi would occupy the oranges, kiwi would occupy this space and the other elements would get pushed to the next index. So let us print this. Okay, as you can see, now the kiwi is occupying this space and orange, cherry, grapes and guava, they are pushed 1 index ahead. Okay, so the insert method is like this. Let me comment this out. Okay, now we have seen 2 methods that are used to add some elements to the list. There is one more method like this, which is extend. Okay, suppose we have 2 lists, nums. So this is a list 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, it has 5 elements. Okay, and all are integer values, and we want to create a compound list which would contain all the elements. So what we can do, we can use this variable fruits, then the dot operator and then extend. With extend, it takes a iterable value, and iterable is a value that that you can iterate upon. So it is a collection of elements. Okay, so it is not a single element, it is a collection of elements. Okay, it takes a collection of elements, and let us give it a collection of element which is nums. So I am going to give it this iterable here. So nums. So the syntax is like name of the variable, then name of the variable that is referencing to the list, then dot, and then extend method. After that you are going to insert, after that you are going to give it a iterable value. Okay, so print compound lists. So as you can see that this method is a special method and it doesn't return anything, it returns nothing else, and it modifies the list in place. So I showed you this because it is a very important concept. So this extend method directly modifies the list in place. So you can't hold this thing in a variable because it returns nothing, it modifies your initial list directly. So let me print this. So after applying this fruits.extend, when you print the fruits list, what would happen? You can see that 1 2 3 4 5 is now inside the fruits list. Okay, so what it did, the extend method directly modified the list in place and it returns none. So you can't hold that inside a variable. Okay, so it directly modifies the list in place. There are some more methods to the list and I am going to cover them. So till now we have covered methods that are somewhat related to appending something or inserting something or extending the list. So till now we have covered how to increase the number of elements in the list. Okay, how to add more elements to the list. Now we are going to see how to remove elements from the list. So there is a method on the list object which is pop. Okay, so fruits, name of the list, then the dot operator and the method's name which is pop, and this pop can be used with a index. So there are two options with this. You can use it directly. If you use it directly, what would happen, that it would pop the last element, it would remove the last element from the list. So 5 would get removed. Okay, so if you use pop directly, it would remove the last element from the list. And there is one more option with this, where you can insert the index. Suppose I want to pop the 0th element here inside the list. So I would insert a 0 here. I would give it a 0th index, and when I am going to print the fruits now, so you can see that apple is not in the list anymore. So it removed the element. Okay, it removed the element that was on the 0th index. So you have two options with this. Either you can use it directly, or you can give it an index and it would remove the element of that index. Okay, so with pop you can have this variable here. With pop, let me show you, fruits dot pop, and this would remove the last element, which is the fourth, which is 4 here. Okay, and I'm going to give it, I'm going to store it in a variable last item, and when I print last item, it is number 4. So whenever you pop something from the list, you can store it in some variable so you can use it later. Okay, so this is the pop method. After that, there is a clear method also. Suppose you want to clear out or flush out all the elements from the list. So first let me comment this out, and I am going to use the fruits list dot clear. Okay, so this clear method, what it does, it clears the or flushes out all the elements from the list. So now the list is empty. So you can use this clear method if you want to get rid of all the elements of the list. So this is a neat way to do that thing. Okay, so after that clear method, let me show you on the nums list also first. So nums, name of the variable that is referencing to the list, then the dot operator, and then the name of the method. Okay, we are going to print the nums here. So as you can see, there is nothing inside the list now. So clear is used to clear the elements from the list, is used to remove the elements from the list. Okay, so we have seen append, which is used to append an element to the end of the list. We have seen insert, which is used to insert something at an arbitrary position in the list. We have seen extend, which is used to extend our current list, and we can extend that list and we can add some new items to it. Okay, and we have seen pop, where you can pop from the end of the list, or you can remove the element from the end of the list, or you can remove from any arbitrary position also. Clear clears the list, or it flushes all the items of the list. So we have seen some good methods of the list till now. Now I am going to show you how to make copy of a list. Okay, so suppose we have a fruits list here, apple, and then banana, guava, mango. Okay, we have a fruits list here, and let us make something fruit list. Fruits. So if you want to copy this list, and if you want to perform the operations on a copy of this list, because if you don't want to modify the original collection that you have and you want to perform some operations on the copy, this is not the method that you should use. So here what I have done, I have created a variable which is referencing to the fruits list. Suppose if I do fruits list dot pop, and then I print fruits, what would happen? Let me show you. So what happened? Mango got removed. We performed the operation on the fruits list, which is referencing to the fruits. Okay, fruits collection here, which is a collection of strings. Okay, and it modified the main list. So for copying you can use some things. So for copying the data from one list to the other, you can use this name of the variable, then a square bracket, and then a semicolon here, then a colon here. Okay, so this is not the semicolon, this is a colon. Okay, so now when I print fruits, when I print the fruits list, ID of the fruits list, which is like the memory address. Okay, and when I print the ID of fruits collection, you can see both of the IDs are different. Okay, so both of these objects are different, and we have successfully copied the list using this way. So even if I modify the fruit list now dot pop, okay, and I print the fruits here, okay, even if I modify this list, it would not affect the original one. Okay, so the original one is like, it is not affected by any operation on this. Okay, so if I add something, fruits list, fruits list dot append, and suppose I want to append cherry. Okay, even if I appended cherry to it, our original list which is here, it only contains 4 elements. Okay, so this method of copying the list is good. You can use this method if you want to copy all the elements from a list, and after that you can do some modification on the copy, and the original list would not get affected in any way. Okay, we can also try to print this list, and we can check what are the values that are residing in this. So fruits list. Okay, so you can see cherry is there, and we popped one item, so mango got removed. So you can see this is one way of copying the items. Let me show you another way. Another way is to use the dot copy method. Okay, so you can create a copy of this list using the dot copy method also. So now also if you check the ID of fruits list and ID of fruits, you can see that both the IDs are different. So this is also a method that you can use to copy the elements from one list to the this is also a good method to copy lists. Okay, so this is very essential thing to know as a programmer, because many times what you want to do is that you want to do some operation on a copy, and you don't want to do the modification on the original collection. So during those times you would create a copy of that original collection, and you can do some operations on that. So if I do some operations on this now, it would not affect our main list. So you can see that I have performed a pop operation on this list, and still our main list is unaffected. So this is a way which you can use. one more way is there where you can use the list method. So with this list method, if you give it a iterable, it would create a new list. So I am going to give it the fruits list here. So what it would do, let me show you. ID of fruits list and ID of fruits. So this is also a method to create a copy. Okay, so both of these IDs are different. So let me show you some operations on the fruits list. Dot pop operations operation I would do, and let me print the fruits. So this is our original list, and we made a copy of that list, and we are referencing it using this. Okay, so as you can see, this has all the elements intact, and let me show you the operation that we did in this on this list also. Okay, let me show you this list. So as you can see, we have performed a dot pop operation on this list, and this fruit list is now having less elements. Okay, so these are the methods, these are the ways that you can use to copy list or in Python. Okay, so I have shown you three methods, three ways. You can use these three ways, and there are oftentimes when you want to have your original collection intact and you want to also perform some operation, what you do is that you make a copy of that collection and you perform that operation on that thing, and your original collection remains intact. So this is a neat way of doing things.